What's happening around the world and what's happening here at home? A very good evening to and welcome to Weekend Prime Time News. I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
No political influence on investigation, statement from the police.
යම් හේතු මත මන්දගම් වෙලා තිබු විමර්ශන මේ වන විට කිසිම දේශපාලන බලපෑමක් නොමැති හේතුවෙන් අපි දැන් ඒ විමර්ශන සියල්ල වඩා වේගෙන් සිදු කරමින් පවතිනවා.
Investigations are being carried out not with the intention of getting revenge. Law is being implemented, President clarifies in Anuradhapura. 3 aircraft of Sri Lankan Airlines held for 3 years without any renovation. $900,000 paid every month. Revelation from Minister Bimal.
යානා 3ක් අවුරුදු 3ක් තිස්සේ ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් කරලා තිබුණා එන්ජින්ස් නැතුව.
Will work to protect media freedom. An assurance from the Prime Minister. India celebrates 76th Republic Day. Several state tableaus take part in parade. Kamidu Mendes crowned ICC Emerging Men's Cricketer of the Year 2024.
In your top story for tonight, the police stressed that actions against fraud and corruption that took place in the past is being taken expeditiously as there are no political interventions. Police media spokesperson, Senior Superintendent of Police, Buddhika Manathunga, said that investigations that were lagging during the past have been expedited.
Since there is no political influence, many investigations that were stalled for many years are now being conducted expeditiously. Based on these investigations, we will be arresting suspects and taking onward legal action. We will conduct investigations into offences under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act and according to all other legal provisions. We are receiving the advice of the Attorney General and we are conducting investigations into several murders as well.
Questions were raised about the allegations on social media regarding the failure of the police to handcuff Yoshitha Rajapaksa upon him being arrested.
When we go to arrest a suspect, everything that is being done is based on a legal premise. Section 23 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, Act number 15 of 1979 states how a person should be arrested. If the suspect is attempting to flee or is refusing to be placed under custody, handcuffing the suspect is one of the methods that was used to bring the suspect under control. If the suspect is consenting to be placed in custody, there is no requirement to put him in handcuffs. Also, that decision is made by the investigating officer who is at the scene at that particular moment. Therefore, there is no issue here and there has been no mistake on the part of the police. The steps were taken based on the existing legal provisions.
Was there a political influence during the arrest of Yoshitha Rajapaksa?
A clear answer can be given. There is no political influence in the investigation. Even the minister in charge of our institution does not intervene in our investigations. Whether to handcuff a suspect or not is a decision made by an investigating officer at the moment the arrest is being made. The minister, the secretary to the ministry or the president did not intervene in any way in this matter. These investigating officers operate based on the existing legal provisions.
Why are suspects being arrested for fraud and corruption being released on bail?
When sufficient evidence to file legal action is found, we arrest the suspect. By arresting a suspect and thereafter either placing him under remand custody or releasing him on bail is done to ensure that he participates in the case. The suspect may leave the country, but if the suspect is arrested and released on bail, he cannot evade legal proceedings. If he is placed under remand custody, that too will ensure that he cannot evade legal proceedings. Afterwards, the legal proceedings will continue. The case will be heard, and if he has committed any offence, he will be imprisoned or punished accordingly.
A total of 4,020 suspects with active warrants have been arrested during a special crime prevention operation conducted over the past 13 days. The police media spokesperson also spoke about bringing back to the country several criminals who had been facilitating criminal activities in Sri Lanka while residing overseas.
These shootings have become a serious problem in the country. We conducted investigations to identify these shooters and identify their networks. During the past 3 months, we have arrested arrested 84 suspects involved in these shootings and recovered 3 T-56 firearms and 5 pistols. Also, the suspects who planned these shootings have done so while being overseas. We have issued red notices for their arrests. International authorities have informed us that 4 of these suspects are already in their custody. We will take steps under the extradition laws and bring these suspects back to Sri Lanka. We have put in place a special security plan for areas that we have identified as hotspots for such incidents. We have also deployed members of the police special task force to several police stations.
President Anura Kumar Dissanayake says that the current government has been successful in instilling trust and respect towards Sri Lanka among foreign countries. He made this statement speaking to party supporters in Anuradhapura.
A meeting of party supporters of the National People's Power in the Anuradhapura district was held today. The event was chaired by President Anura Kumar Dissanayake.
මාස දෙකක් ගත වුණා විතරයි. අපි ආණ්ඩුවක් ගත්තාම අපි මුණ දුන්නු ප්‍රධාන සාධකය තමයි
It has only been 2 months. One of the main allegations leveled against us during the run-up to the election was that if an NPP government comes into power, the country will lose all of its international relations. They created an opinion among the public that if the NPP comes into power, international organizations will stop supporting the country and that industrialists and businessmen would leave the country. They said that the country would run out of gas and fuel. Based on the opinion that they created in the country, foreign countries would have had some suspicion about our government. Therefore, we wanted to first ensure that international financial institutions, investors, industrialists, entrepreneurs and all stakeholders of our economy have faith in our government. Therefore, we established faith in our government by bringing down the exchange rate of the dollar below 300 rupees. We have been maintaining the exchange rate of the dollar below 300 rupees for 3 to 4 months. The stock market is moving forward fast. The trust placed in our country by investors can be seen in the development of our stock market. On the 21st of December last year, we completely concluded the debt restructuring program of Sri Lanka. On the 21st of December, Sri Lanka was brought out of bankruptcy. After restructuring our debt, we have resumed all 11 projects. There were 76 new projects done by the Chinese government. All of those projects were halted. You know about the Kadavatha Mirigama section of the highway here. We only have a part of a highway. Many of those projects and 76 new projects were halted. During our recent visit to China, the Chinese government agreed to restart these 76 projects. What does this say? We want to re-establish faith in the economy of our country. I believe that we have established faith. Next, we put in much effort to ensure international support and faith. You may remember that a foreign ambassador recently said that the current Sri Lankan government has completely got rid of corruption and therefore Sri Lanka is becoming a trustworthy country for investors. Therefore, we have been able to win back faith and respect from the international community for Sri Lanka.
The president also spoke about the ongoing investigations.
මහජනයාගේ ධනෙ කෝටි ප්‍රකෝටි ගණන් නාස්ති කරන දේශපාලන සංස්කෘතියක් තියෙනවා. අපි මේ දේශපාලන සංස්කෘතිය තිත තියලා තියෙන්නේ. ආණ්ඩුව කිසි අමතිවරයෙකුට ආණ්ඩුවේ
There is a political culture that wasted billions of rupees of public funds. We have put a full stop to this political culture. No minister will get an official residence from the government. The government will not pay their electricity bills and water bills. Ministers and members of parliament will not be given security. Since the president is doing this, along with the ministers and the MPs, we asked the former president to do a little of it. Then they say that we are doing this to get revenge. There is no revenge here. This is a positive political culture. Think about it. The couple have been allocated a house in Vijayarama, Colombo 7. The house is 30,500 square feet. The land is 1 acre and 13 perches. Is this fair? About 700 million rupees had been spent to renovate the house. There is only 1 floor in the house and they have installed an elevator. They have a generator there. It is not fair to spend the people's money like this. We ask them to leave these old ways behind and change to the new ways a little bit. Then they say that we are trying to evict him from his house. Why would we care where he lives? All we are saying is that the government cannot bear such a cost. We simply ask them to come down to the mattress. But a leech cannot be kept on the mattress. They are still clinging on to their old ways. These are wrong. They speak about revenge. Do we have any land disputes with them? We have nothing like that. All that we are saying is that we are creating a positive political culture. Every time that we use even a single cent of public money for our needs, let's do that by considering the money as community property. They are not used to that. They believe that it is their right to spend billions of rupees of public money and live wasteful lives. They think it is their birthright. They have filed a case demanding for that birthright. It is not a birthright and it is ugly. All we are saying is become simple. Live a simple life. If you don't have a place to live, we will provide a house sufficient for the two of you. There may be ghosts in a house that spans across 30,500 square feet. All I'm saying is forget about all the money that you have wasted in the past. At least change from today. They have filed cases and are accusing us of taking revenge. Why do we need to take revenge? Some people say everything is good, but what will happen to the thieves? Remember that we are not going to conduct investigations, we are not going to file cases, and we are not going to fight these cases in court. That is not the duty of a politician. We have created institutions for that. The Criminal Investigations Department has been created to investigate. The Attorney General's Department has been formed to aid in those investigations and to file the indictments properly and fight the case. What have we done? All that we have done is breathe life into these institutions. We summoned the officials and told them, you will not be subject to any political influence. You are being paid by the tax money of the citizens. Conduct the investigations properly. These arrests are being made for the purpose of investigating. Courts grant bail to the suspects. After the cases are filed, the suspects must be convicted and then sent to jail. That will be done. We have empowered these institutions to do just that. We are not going behind anyone personally. Then people say that it is the small incidents that come out and not the big ones. The investigations that are concluded are the ones that come out. We can't say, since the big ones are not complete yet, we are holding back on the small ones. The harder investigations take time. That is the nature of investigations. Lasantha was murdered on the 8th of January 2009. The investigations are being conducted in 2025, 16 years after the murder. This is a murder investigation. Is it easy? About 15 to 16 years after Tajuddin's murder, investigations are being conducted into the matter. The investigations for which evidence can be found quickly are done fast, and investigations that are harder will take longer. We strengthen the Criminal Investigations Department and the Attorney General's Department. We strongly believe that they will do their job properly.
තාසකට පස්සේ තාජුන්ගේ ඝාතනය ගැන පරීක්ෂණ කරනවා. ඉක්මනින් සාක්ෂි මතුවෙනේවා, ඉක්මනින් සාධක මතුවෙනවා, ඉක්මනින් කරනවා. දුෂ්කරතා තියෙනේවා, ඒ දුෂ්කරතා දරාගෙන කාලයක් කියයි. අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව අපි මේ විදිහට ශක්තිමත් කරා, නීතිපති දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව මේ විදිහට ශක්තිමත් කරා. ඒගොල්ලෝ වැඩේ හරියට කරයි කියලා අපිට දැඩි විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා.
Deputy Minister of Vocational Education Nalin Hevage said that the law is being enforced correctly and not with the intention of seeking revenge. He made this statement speaking at the Aditana Goal Conference.
We can see that several people are struggling. They know that when the law is being enforced properly in the near future, they too will have to go. Even today, one person was arrested. We are not enforcing the law with the intention of seeking revenge from anyone. We have no animosity. But a country without the rule of law cannot be developed. The law must be enforced. The murder of Tajuddin must be investigated along with the Easter Sunday attack. We will not unnecessarily intervene in those investigations. If not, they would say that we are taking revenge from them. They will even start crying this afternoon that people were arrested. They cry when these people are arrested. There is no point in crying. These are public property. The law must be enforced. That will definitely be done. We have to admit that we will need a little time to change certain things. We took over the government at a very challenging time. This governance mechanism is not set up for our government to function. How did they run the government? The president gets appointed, he gets a house in Colombo along with a massive salary. Their wives get positions in the government. The ministers get their vehicles, posting at foreign embassies, bar permits and government contracts. Are any one of us operating for a profit? Therefore, we have to change the mechanism from the existing one to another. This is a challenging task and will take some time. Neither I nor the President can play around with the mandate that was given to us by the voters in the country. We cannot insult that mandate. What is this mandate? This mandate is the hope of people across Sri Lanka, including the north, east and the hill country. If we are playing with that mandate and we are sitting comfortable in air-conditioned rooms, there can be no bigger hooligans than us. Why did we come into power to do these things? This is our duty. It is the duty of the government to do this and we are bound by that duty.
Minister of Plantation and Community Infrastructure Samantha Vidyaratna also spoke about this matter.
When a common citizen is arrested and jailed for brewing illicit liquor, that is considered the law. If a son of a politician is jailed for defrauding millions of rupees, that is considered as political revenge. That cannot be the case. A politician engaging in corruption is more severe than a common man doing the same. A president or a parliamentarian, minister or even the prime minister cannot order the police to arrest anyone. Those are decisions taken by the police. The law was not enforced against politicians in the past. The law was only enforced against the common man. When the law is being enforced, those who were involved in fraud and corruption get scared. They get scared, convene media briefings and level accusations. The government will not falter because of this. We have never asked for a specific individual to be arrested. We don't even know who is arrested until the police arrests them. We don't go look into those matters. We are building the country. We are managing the government. That is what we are doing.
Prime Minister Harini Amarasuriya said that the government respects the freedom of the press and that will always provide support to protect it.
The meet-up and cricket tournament of the Colombo Journalists Association was held under the auspices of Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya. Minister of Health and Mass Media Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa and several opposition members of Parliament also attended the event as guests. You are a group that performs an immensely important task. All of us ensure that we will continue to provide you with all the support that you need. Freedom of the press is something that we respect. It is extremely important that the general public has access to information. The service that you provide in ensuring that is highly appreciated.
For the sake of the people of this country and to protect the freedom of expression of the general public, you have to be safe and sound. We are focusing on creating a safe environment for all of you, to create an environment where you are respected as professionals. Our focus here is to create a program that will ensure that the knowledge and skill of journalists are continuously improved. We believe that if not for you, the general public would not have the luxury of freedom.
Minister of Transport, Highways, Ports and Civil Aviation Bimal Ratnayaka said that Sri Lankan Airlines had held on to 3 aircrafts without renovating them for 3 years and had paid a sum of $900,000 per month. The minister stressed that the current administration is focused on developing Sri Lankan Airlines instead of selling it off.
Minister of Transport, Highways, Ports and Civil Aviation Bimal Ratnayaka was questioned on the current status of Sri Lankan Airlines while he was touring the Sri Lanka Civil Aviation Authority.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා ගුවන් සමාගම වහලා විකුණලා විනාශ කළා දාලා තිබුණේ නාස්ති කරලා
Sri Lankan Airlines was destroyed because of waste and they tried to sell it off. Sarath Kanekota is a managing director of a leading company in Sri Lanka. He has now intervened and is taking several steps with other officials. With those steps being taken, plans to sell the airline have been abandoned. As far as I know, 3 aircraft of Sri Lankan Airlines had been grounded for 3 years without engines. They had paid a sum of $900,000 per month for these aircraft while they were grounded. That is how they operated during the government of Ranil Wickremesinghe. Now, as far as I know, Mr. Ganigoda and the new leadership have found some funds, and I believe that one of those aircraft are operating now. They are planning on operating the remaining 2 aircraft by the month of April. I know that they are planning on operating the airline instead of selling it.
The staff of the Civil Aviation Authority had presented the minister with a memento.
India celebrates its 76th Republic Day today. The iconic Republic Day parade featuring contingents from the Indian Armed Forces and the vibrant tableau from different states and union territories highlighting their own rich cultural heritage took place in the national capital.
जयति जय जय जयति जय जय जयति जय मम भारतम जयति जय जय जयति जय जय जयति जय मम भारतम हो तेरी जय मम भारतम तेरी जय मम भारतम तेरी जय मम भारतम.
Indian Republic Day, celebrated annually on the 26th of January, marks a significant milestone in India's history as it commemorates the adoption of the Constitution of India in 1950. This year, the Grand Indian Republic Day celebrations took place in New Delhi with the attendance of the Indonesian President as the chief guest and 10,000 other special guests. The theme of this year is Swarnim Bharat, Virasit or Vikas, or Golden India, Heritage and Progress. Speaking of the rich cultural heritage, coupled with the immense and still growing steps the nation is taking towards development and modernization. President Draupadi Murmu led the nation in celebrating India's 76th Republic Day with a grand parade at Kartavya Path in New Delhi. The ceremony started with Prime Minister Narendra Modi visiting the National War Memorial to pay tribute to soldiers who laid down their lives for the country. Thereafter, the Prime Minister and other dignitaries headed towards the saluting dais at Kartavya Path near the Indian Gate to witness the parade. This year, for the first time, the Indonesian military also took part in the parade. A cultural display reflecting the diversity of India's over 300 distinct cultures was also held with the participation from over 5,000 artists. Tableau from several state government and union territories and 10 ministries and department of the central government highlighting this year's theme participated in the parade this year. The flypast witnessed a breathtaking air show by 40 aircraft, including 22 fighter jets, 11 transport aircraft and 7 helicopters of the Indian Air Force. One of the most significant moments of the parade was the participation of robotic dogs. The Indian Army's robotic dog, famously known as the multi-utility legged equipment, became a highlight at the Republic Day parade held at Kolkata's Red Road. In a video, they are seen walking in unison in the parade, controlled by army personnel walking alongside them. They also perform an impressive bow during the parade. India became an independent nation on the 15th of August 1947. While the day marked the end of nearly 200 years of British rule in the country, it wasn't until January 26, 1950, that India got its democratic soul, the Constitution.
सर्व सिद्धि प्रदः कुंभः सर्व सिद्धि प्रदः कुंभः स्वर्ग लोक की आभा उतरी तीर्थराज के आंगन में झूम रहे हैं साधु संत जन पुलक भरा है तन मन में भव्य
शून्यता शून्यतैव रूपं रूपान्न पृथक् शून्यता शून्यतायान पृथक् रूपम्
The High Commission of India in Colombo celebrate India's 76th Republic Day. The event was presided over by Acting High Commissioner Dr. Satyanjal Pandey.
75 years, someone might say, is only the blink of an eye in the life of a nation. No, I will say not these past 75 years. This has been the time when the long dormant soul of India has awakened again, taking strides to regain its rightful place in the community of nations. Among the oldest civilization, India was once known as source of knowledge and wisdom. There, however, came a dark phase, and inhuman exploitation under colonial rule led to utter poverty.
The 76th Indian Republic Day was celebrated today at the Indian Consulate General's office in Hambantota. The Indian Consul General Harvinder Singh read out a message given by the President of India.
This is my second tenure here in Hambantota. But when we are in Sri Lanka, all of us, all my colleagues including me, we feel very comfortable. We are away from our home country. We miss our family, we miss our relatives, we miss everything that we have been a part of our upbringing. In Sri Lanka, we feel very comfortable. We feel as if we are in some part of India. This is primarily because of our similar culture, our similar history, and our similar family system and beliefs.
The event was attended by a large gathering including senior officers from the Tri-Forces, police and state officials.
Sri Lanka's Kamindu Mendis crowned as the ICC Emerging Men's Cricketer of the Year.
A three-vehicle collision involving passenger buses occurred this morning at Angulugahak Junction on the Galle-Akuresa main road, resulting in 29 people being injured.
A bus travelling from Imadua towards Galle stopped to pick up passengers when a bus following closely behind collided with it. The impact caused the bus to swerve into the opposite lane, where it collided head-on with another bus travelling in the opposite direction.
මමත් යනවා ගාලු ඒ බස් එකේ කාර්යාල සේවා අපිට යා හැමදාම සිස්ටම් ඉස්සර කරන්නේ අපිට කරදර යන්නේ ඒ බස් එකෙන් ඒක යනවා ඉස්සර කළා මේ වංගුවේදී ඉස්සර කරන්න ඇවිල්ලා පාන්නවකන අතන හෝල්ට් එකේ බස් එක නවත්තලා මම මෙහින් ගාලු යනවා මගේ එකේ වැදුන ඩෝන් ගාලා ඇවිල්ලා මම එහෙම තල්ලු වෙලා ගියා ඉස්සරහට ඊට පස්සේ ගිහලා අර බස් එකේ වැදුනේ ඒක මගේ එකේ තමයි ඉස්සෙල්ලා වැදුනේ ඒකෙන් වේගෙ බාල වෙලා ගිහලා තමයි අරක වැදුනේ
29 passengers from all three buses were injured and have been admitted to Imadua and National Hospital Galle. 15 of the injured are currently receiving in-house treatment. Police have arrested the drivers of all three buses in connection with the accident.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
International Edu Expo with EdLocate on the 1st and 2nd February. Call us to register.
Welcome back to the news. Imagine a project promising a vibrant new hub for your neighborhood, a modern bus stop with shops and a community space. Construction begins, but then progress stalls. Years pass and the half-finished structure becomes an eyesore, a constant reminder of unfulfilled promises and wasted taxpayer money. This is tonight's edition of What Happened to the Village.
What happened to the village?
This is the reality for residents of Tuttiripitiya, a remote village in Sri Lanka. Their Vayatakirla project, intended to revitalize their community, has been abandoned midway. Millions of rupees vanished, leaving behind a skeletal framework and frustrated locals. Villagers lament the lost opportunity for economic growth and a thriving community space.
මෙතන තිබුණේ බුදුමැදුර ඉස්සරලම බෝධියක් තිබුණා. ඒ දෙකම අයින් කරලා තමයි මේක පටන් ගත්තේ. ඒ හදනකොට කිව්වා අපි බුදුමැදුර ගැන කියනකොට බුදුමැදුරකුත් හදලා දෙනවා කියලා. තාම බුදුමැදුරකුත් නැහැ. කෝටි ගාණක් ඉතින් අපේ සල්ලි මේ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. අපි වෙන අය තමයි ගෙවන්නේ. කඩ කාමර හතරක් තියෙනවා. ඩිසේබල් ටොයිලට් අරන් මනම් එහෙම ගොඩක් දේවල් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් දැන් ඒව ගොඩක් ඔය ජරා ජීර්ණ වෙලා ගිහින් තියෙනවා.
පටන් ගත්තා වගේ මේකේ අවසන් අධීරයට වැඩ උනේ නැහැ. අපි කියා සිටින්නේ ඉතින් අපේ ගමට මේක වැඩදායි වැඩක් ගන්න පුළුවන් තැනක් කරලා දෙන්න කියලා.
This is the gap between grand promises and actual delivery in public projects. The irony of a project meant to uplift them, now serving as a symbol of neglect and squandered resources.
What happened to the village?
Imagine living only 40 meters from your nearest town, yet having to travel 25 kilometers to actually reach it. This is a reality for residents of remote villages in Sri Lanka.
බෝට්ටුව පෙරලිලා මිනිස්සු මැරිලා තියෙනවා 18 දෙනෙක් විතර මැරිලා තියෙනවා. පොළට පලාකොළ මිටියක් හරි අරගෙන යන්නේ මේ බෝට්ටුවකින්. එහෙම යන අතරතුර තමයි මිනිසුන්ට හානි වෙන්නේ. ඉස්පිරිතාලයකට යා ගන්න බෑ. ඉස්කෝලේ ළමයි අම්මලා වඩාගෙන යන්නේ. කිසිම ආධාරයක් අපට අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. මේක හදලා දෙන්න.
Heavy rainfall and floods turned the Logaloya River into a raging torrent, cutting them off from the outside world. Children miss school, the sick are denied medical care, and even basic necessities become a struggle to obtain. They risk their lives crossing the river in dilapidated boats or wading through the flood waters. Some have even lost their lives attempting this treacherous journey. Over 200 families are living in poor conditions, isolated and facing immense hardship due to the lack of basic infrastructure.
මේ අපි ඉන්න පින්නගොල්ලේ අර තියෙන බලගොල්ල මීටර මොනනම් 40ක් විතර දුරයි. එනකොට අපි බලගොල්ලට යන්න නම් කිලෝමීටර 25ක් විතර දුර අපේ මේ පැත්තේ යන්න ඕනේ.
අපි ඉල්ලා සිටින්නේ මේ ලොග්ගල්ලාවයට පාලමක් ඉදි කරලා දෙන්නේ කියන එක. මේ අහිංසක දරුවෝ වෙනුවෙන්.
The Gamma team in the Babula district witnessed firsthand the hardships faced by these communities and is urging the government to address this critical issue.
Gamma door to door.
Newsfirst with the people.
Sri Lanka is experiencing a tourism boom. This year, we anticipate welcoming over 300,000 visitors drawn to our island's captivating beauty and rich cultural heritage. With that note, let's take a look at tonight's edition of Happy Headlines.
Happy Headlines. Today, a new chapter in Sri Lanka's tourism journey began with the official opening of the Eagle's Viewpoint in Nuwara. Situated at an altitude of 6,182 feet above sea level, the platform provides visitors with stunning panoramic views of Nuwara city and several surrounding provinces. The viewpoint, which was constructed with the efforts of the Sri Lanka Air Force, was unveiled by Minister of Tourism Vijitha Herath and Air Commander Udeni Rajapaksa at a special ceremony. This initiative is part of the government's broader plan to enhance the country's tourism sector with a target of attracting 3 million tourists this year. In addition to Nuwara, visitors will be able to enjoy spectacular views of iconic sites such as Gregory Lake, Piduruthalagala, Adams Peak, the Saptakanya mountain range and the picturesque Uber province. The project received financial backing from the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority and is expected to draw even more tourists to the region. As Sri Lanka continues to welcome visitors from around the world, this new facility will play a key role in showcasing the country's natural beauty and boosting tourism.
The Law Students Association of Sri Lanka's induction ceremony was held today.
The induction ceremony of the Law Students Association of Sri Lanka was held at the Bar Association Auditorium in Colombo today.
Dreaming is very simple, not that just flat sleep and do something. No, everybody wants it, isn't it? That's a very simple thing. What happens is everybody wants to be recognized. Everybody wants to be in the limelight. For that, you have to see who is having it there, achieving the dream. First, you set the dream. This is what I want. You want that? It's not overnight work. You have to work hard. For that, you have to have a discipline from the beginning. This is my target. So, set your target. You can change your target. That's not a problem. Say that I want to be a civil lawyer, fine. I want to be a commercial lawyer. I want to be a criminal lawyer. Okay, fine. Anything. Keep on changing, but keep the ambition to say, that's the place I want to be.
Heshan C. Jayasiri was inducted as the president of the Law Students Association of Sri Lanka.
Vidya Jayati Professor Prasad Katulanda was officially inducted as president of the Ceylon College of Physicians in Colombo yesterday.
The ceremonial induction of the president of Ceylon College of Physicians was held in Colombo yesterday. Vidya Jyoti Professor Prasad Katulanda was inducted as the 49th president of the Ceylon College of Physicians.
Therefore, I consider this one of the greatest accolades a physician can have in this country. And I truly am honored by being elected for this position. In addition, I consider this a great privilege because the college has yet given me another chance to serve the college as well as the fellow citizens in this country through multiple activities of the College of Physicians.
The ceremonial induction was attended by government officials, past presidents and members of the Ceylon College of Physicians.
US President Donald Trump has instructed the US military to release a hold imposed by Democratic former President Joe Biden on the supply of 2,000-pound bombs to Israel.
President Trump's move to release a hold imposed on the supply of 2,000-pound bombs to Israel was widely expected. Trump aboard Air Force One told reporters, quote-unquote, we released them today, and they will have them. They paid for them, and they have been waiting for them for a long time. They have been in storage. Former US President Joe Biden put a hold on the delivery of those bombs due to concern of the impact they could have on the civilian population, particularly in Gaza's Rafah during Israel's war in the Palestinian enclave. One 2,000-pound bomb can rip through thick concrete and metal, creating a wide blast radius. According to foreign media reports published last year, Biden administration had sent thousands of 2,000-pound bombs to Israel after the 7th of October 2023 attack by Hamas, but had put a hold on one shipment. Washington has announced assistance for Israel worth billions of dollars since the war began. When asked why he released the powerful bombs, Trump responded, quote-unquote, because they bought them. Earlier yesterday, Trump said on the Truth Social platform, quote-unquote, a lot of things that were ordered and paid for by Israel but have not been sent by Biden are now on their way. Trump and Biden have been strong supporters of U.S. ally Israel, even as Washington has come under criticism from human rights advocates over the humanitarian crisis in Gaza from Israel's military assault. Protesters have unsuccessfully demanded an arms embargo. Washington says it is helping Israel defend against Iran-backed militant groups like Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Houthis in Yemen.
President Donald Trump also says that Jordan and Egypt should take more Palestinians from Gaza, where Israel's military assault has caused a dire humanitarian situation and killed tens of thousands.
US President Donald Trump has floated a plan to just clean out Gaza and said he wants Egypt and Jordan to take Palestinians from the territory as a fragile truce between Israel and Hamas aimed at permanently ending the war enters its second week today. The truce deal that came into effect on the 19th of January saw 4 Israeli hostages and around 200 Palestinian prisoners released to joyful scenes on Saturday in the second such exchange so far. But after 15 months of war, Trump called Gaza a demolition site and said he had spoken to Jordan's King Abdullah II about moving Palestinians out of the territory. Quote-unquote, I would like Egypt to take people and I would like Jordan to take people, Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One, adding that he expected to talk to Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi today. Most Gazans are Palestinian refugees on their descendants. For Palestinians, any attempt to move them from Gaza would evoke dark historical memories of what the Arab world calls the Nakba, or catastrophe, the mass displacement of Palestinians during Israel's creation 75 years ago. Egypt has previously warned against any forced displacement of Palestinians from Gaza into the Sinai Desert, which Sisi said could jeopardize the peace treaty Egypt signed with Israel in 1979. According to the United Nations, Jordan is already home to around 2.3 million registered Palestinian refugees. Quote-unquote, you're talking about probably 1.5 million people, and we just clean out that whole thing, Trump said of Gaza, whose population is about 2.4 million, adding that something has to happen. Quote-unquote, I would rather get involved with some of the Arab nations and build housing at a different location where they can maybe live in peace for a change, Trump said, adding that moving Gaza's inhabitants could be temporarily or could be long-term. The vast majority of Gaza's people have been displaced, often multiple times, by the Gaza war that began after Hamas's attack on southern Israel on the 7th of October 2023.
Sri Lanka's Kamindu Mendes has been crowned the ICC Emerging Men's Cricketer of the Year.
Mendes has been crowned the ICC Emerging Men's Cricketer of the Year after a record-breaking spell saw the Sri Lankan become the fastest player to reach 1,000 test runs in 75 years. He returned to the test side in March with an immediate impact, striking twin centuries in a match against Bangladesh in Sylhet, and the 26-year-old used that platform to establish himself as one of the leading test batters in the year, striking 1,049 runs in 9 tests and hitting headlines when he also became the first player to hit a half-century in each of his first 8 matches.
The 2025 annual sports meet of Luba International School was held this Friday.
The 2025 annual sports meet of Lua International School was held this Friday, featuring a wide range of exciting events and enthusiastic participation from students and staff alike. The sports saw the active participation from all teams and athletes. Awards were presented to the winners in various categories.
With that, we wrap up news for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Do take care and good night.